No. Hi, I'm Regina Jennings, and I hope you enjoyed reading A Most Inconvenient Marriage. It's the first book of my Ozark Mountain Romance series, and this series is really dear to my heart because most of my family still lives in southwest Missouri, as did our ancestors back in the Civil War. So, with 150 years of family history in that region, I had a lot of things that made it from real life into the story that I'd love to share with you. So, for one thing, the first thing is the brutality of the region. You probably got a sense of that in the book of how dark it was. That was not exaggerated at all. In 1863, my great-great-great-grandpa, William Mosley, was shot and killed by bushwhackers while he was just out working his field in Wright County, Missouri. Now, bushwhacker was a general term used for someone who hid in the bushes or hid in the woods and would attack people. And sometimes they were in bands, like gangs of outlaws that would do this. But that was a very real part of life back then. It was very lawless. But even with that darkness, just like in the book, there was also humor. There was also good times too. So one story I really enjoy, it was the year before William died. He and his wife Mahala were expecting their 9th child. Now, I don't know if Mahala was worried about this birth, or maybe she just ran out of names because she'd already named 8 other children. But she said that whoever helped with the delivery of this child, she would name the baby after them. So on April 21st, 1862, my great-great-grandma was born, and her name was Laura Melissa Alice Mahala Louisa Jane Mosley. So Laura had 5 middle names, and that is the honest-to-goodness truth. That is legal. You can look it up. Laura Melissa Alice Mahala Louisa Jane Mosley. And Laura grew up to be quite a prankster, which is no surprise considering how her mother named her. I imagine her mother was pretty funny too. Laura married Albert Austin, and my grandpa Austin has told me a lot of stories about his grandma Laura. And one of the things that Grandma Laura did that made it into A Most Inconvenient Marriage was the story of the pie dough face, which she saw Abigail do in the book. What Grandma Laura would do is after the kids went to bed, she would get pie dough and put it on her face and gouge out eye holes and form it to her face and make it just, I guess it would look just white and like a second skin. And then she would go outside the cabin and come around and knock on the window of the kids' bedroom. And so my grandpa he'd just shudder and say, "Oh my goodness, it was so spooky to look out the window and there's this face with melted flesh looking in at him." So that gives you an idea of some of the shenanigans they were pulling back then. And I mentioned Laura's husband, Albert Austin. He had a twin brother named Calbert. So we had Albert and Calbert, and that's where we got the name for Calbert Huckabee. And Calbert, you'll be seeing more of Calbert and his kids, Josiah and Betsy, in the other books of this series too. So those are just a few of the stories that have made me just really love the tough, ornery people that have been in the Ozarks for so many years, and the people that live there now as well. So the next book in the Ozark Mountain Romance series is called At Love's Bidding, and it's about a Boston girl and a auctioneer. So you can tell we're going to have a lot of fun with that couple back in the Ozarks. So anyway, I just wanted to thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for reading my books. If you are interested in knowing what I'm working on now, or you'd like to get in touch with me, you can find me at www.reginajennings.com or on Facebook. I love to hear from you, and thank you, and God bless.